my great pleasure on behalf of President Phillip to welcome you to our monthly evening conversation, this being our 11th meeting of the Rotary year and our 5,085th of all time club meetings. Ooh, yes. We're also pleased that you could all make it. It's a good crowd tonight, so it's lovely to see you all here tonight. Our guest speakers tonight are Karen Kim, who is a Melbourne Rotary member, a podcaster and founder of Hello Music Studios, and John Downs, management consultant with many years' experience and presenter of the A Critical Few Actions podcast. Their topic tonight is podcasting for business. Both will be more fully introduced shortly, and in the meantime, please join me in making them welcome. Now, we have some visitors and guests here tonight. We have Srita Das, who's a visitor. Jay Park, hands up, is it?
Adele.
Very nice to see you, Jay.
Adele. She's known as Adele.
Oh, sorry,
trick.
we've got some interjection here from the president. It's very confusing. And we have a number of, we have Victoria Pickett, who's a guest of Bill Pickett. Hi, Victoria. And a number of guests of Karen Kim. So, Karen is very popular. We have Warren Wills. We have Mark Eckel. Eason Chen, Doris Sido, and Duwani Vadki. Welcome everyone. A warm welcome to you all. Now, our club evening meetings are led by a team overseen by the Program Committee. We have an evening meeting every second Wednesday of the month with novel locations or venues and featuring great conversations with our city leaders. We welcome suggestions of any suitable guest speakers of the program, and so if you have any ideas, please reach out to us. It's more exciting stuff, okay. And now for the business of the day. I call on Chairman President Phillip Cornish to take over the meeting and further introduce our guest speakers.
Thanks, Deb. So it's wonderful to see you all here tonight. As I said, the evening meetings are a little bit more informal, a little bit more cash, and an opportunity to talk about some things. So our two guest speakers tonight are Karen and John Downs, but I'm just going to promote a couple of other podcasts. So Rotary International has a podcast which is called Rotary Voices. They do once a month. I reckon they could do more given the number of staff they have, but they do once a month. And the last one they did was where we're up to with polio campaign. And they were talking about negotiations with two tricky governments, the US government and the Afghan government, because the US government has funding appropriated for the polio campaign, and it's about accessing the complexities in Afghanistan to really make sure that we eradicate this disease once and for all. So Rotary's been working on that for 40 years, so we're getting very close. So that was actually one of their better ones. The other thing is we've got at least two club members that have got podcasts. So Karen's got her Hello Music show, and I've got to say I'm a bit worried about your husband being here, Karen, because your particular podcast where you were gushing about the blonde conductor was something of a worry. But yeah, Karen is very engaging and talks to lots of people in the music business. It's actually a great listen. Matthew Karakalukas, who's largely based in Adelaide. He's got an Indigenous background, but he's a lawyer. He wins lots of awards. He has a podcast called Rolling Negotiations, but he's also done an interview with Reconciliation Australia, Chair and CEO, which is a terrific listen. And two of our corporates have podcasts. So Bionic Institute has MedTech Talks, which is actually more interesting than it sounds. and that's done by the CEO of the Bionics Institute. And the Brotherhood has a webinar series which you can also listen to on a podcast. And Joe tells me we've historically got some podcasts floating around, about 4 or 5 of them still, which I wasn't aware of them. So podcast, as you might remember, is a portmanteau of 2 words, iPod and broadcast. And a journalist coined the term. He didn't think it would have any currency, and 20 years later, it's one of the major marketing platforms and promotional opportunities that are around. Now, just talk a moment about our 2 guest speakers. John Downs I met through the Institute of Management Consultants, where I've also got the pleasure of Bill Pickett's company, as well as some other members of the club. John has a very active LinkedIn account, which includes little video snippets of a critical few actions, and he'll be talking about that soon. Karen, what a wonderful field you're in terms of music, lots of rich opportunities.
Well, good evening everyone. My name is Karen Kim, not Kim Karen as some people keep calling me. And I'm the host of Hello Music World, the Hello Music World podcast. I was going to wear those red pants, but they don't really fit. Tonight, I want to share with you why podcasting is such a powerful tool for business and how I've used it to extend the Hello Music brand beyond the classroom into global conversations. Is this mic on? To give you context, Hello Music is my education and events company, which...
Close to the mouth.
Oh, hello. To give you context, my school, Hello Music, is an education and events company, and it's now in its 35th year. Yes, I feel very old and exhausted. So why music matters and why I chose music to be the topic of my podcast. Well, at the heart of what I do is music. Music isn't just entertainment, as you alluded to, Philip. It's an engine and an ecosystem of well-being, culture and economy. In Australia, the music industry is worth over $8.7 billion. Hard to believe, isn't it? With so many poor musicians around. Yeah. It's broken down into essentially live music performance, music retail, recorded music production and distribution, composition, songwriting, artist management, and so forth. Music also contributes to the emotional balance and mental health, and it brings communities together, I'm sure you'll agree. Studies show that it improves cognitive, emotional and social skills in education. And in healthcare, music therapy supports dementia prevention and overall well-being. So when we talk about music, we're really talking about a force that drives society forward on so many levels. So that's why I created the Hello Music World podcast. Through conversations with musicians, educators, innovators and tech leaders, we showcase stories that matter. And the podcast extends the Hello Music brand into a global dialogue and builds thought leadership in music education and creative industries. For me, it's been more than just content creation. It's been a way to connect with people I wouldn't normally have met otherwise. In fact, I usually go through LinkedIn and just stalk people until I get their attention, and then I invite them to a podcast. So it's my driver to really champion the idea that music is not just a hobby, but a vital force for education, well-being, and the community. So, how does podcasting serve business? It's a brand amplifier. One podcast can be cut up and reused for a blog, a social post, an event highlight, and of course it really drives your SEO content up. It positions you as a thought leader, gives you credibility in your industry, and it's a network builder, as I mentioned before, and helping you connect not just across industries and audiences, but borders as well. So one of my recent ones was with a conductologist from Ireland, and I've spoken with people from Uganda, and in fact we have a sister school in Uganda. So it's just an amazing connector. I thought I had a 2-minute time slot, so this is my last one. No, this is it. So my message is simple. If you're thinking about how to grow your business, build your community, or amplify your brand, podcasting is a tool worth embracing, because anything is possible, local to global, one conversation at a time. Thank you. And you can find me on Spotify and Spreaker and Apple Podcasts.
Okay, thank you. We've got lots of questions, I'm sure, and congrats to some of the people who put together the slides as well.
Oh, yes, thanks, Doris and Ethan.
So,
Thank you.
John has been in management consulting now for how long? 40 odd years. He tells me he started when he was 15. So puts him well in the frame. But I'll hand over to John. It is a very active LinkedIn promotion, which I think you want to talk about tonight as well. But also some cross promotion, which you, of course, interviewed some of our other members from the IMC. So, yeah. All right, thanks, John.
So I come to you tonight with the help of those with imposter syndrome because I've only been doing this for 12 months, and I should say 50 weeks, because our anniversary is at the end of this month. And you can hear me clearly? But I thought I'd to just share a few of the learnings that I've had along this journey, because it's been a vertical learning curve. We all know what to do with the QR code, so if you're on Apple Podcasts, here's the QR code for you to use right now, so feel free to pull out your phones and click on the Apple Podcast QR code, because they'll be gone, and then you get to see the Spotify one. So, so that's a little bit about me. I set up the Critical Few Actions podcast really as a response to one of my clients who said, you know, you've offered me these training videos to look at, and frankly, I just don't fold the washing for an hour. But I am driving to Melbourne from Lakes Entrance once a week. It's a 3-hour drive, and I could listen to you for 6 hours if you had a podcast. And that's so the seed of, is there a better way for me to share some of the learnings that I have with my clients, with other clients? Excuse me. So, as I say, I'm on my learning. I've still got my L plates on, but I have got 50 episodes under my belt, and we do a weekly push every week. In our first week that we launched, often as is the case, you can actually roar up the podcasting charts. So I can now say that I've got a top 6 podcast in the business category for Apple in Australia. Never to be repeated again, but you just never know. So what's my mission? It's really to help business owners cut through the overwhelm and focus on the critical few actions they should do if they want to improve their business, if they did nothing else. It's one of my catch cries. And I deliver that through 3 types of podcast episode. One is Meet the Expert, so I interview people that actually know a lot more than I do about particular topics, which might be Georgie Chapman, who talks about HR law issues, how to fire people without ending up in Fair Work hysteria, or how to actually deal with bullying and sexual harassment in the workplace. Or I could be speaking to a member of the IMC talking about how to do business case development for large capital infrastructure projects. And a whole raft of other people in between. Marketing, sales, revenue generation, product, costing, warehouse management, and so on. I also do Meet the Founder interviews, because I find people fascinating, and I find other business owners' journeys fascinating. So we have discussions around not just how good were they and how they got to the journey, but actually what they stuff up and how did they solve the problems, what were the big learnings. And then the last one is the sheepish introvert, who then gets on and talks about a topic of interest that I know something about, particularly strategic planning. So 3 different formats, one podcast. When I first started up, here's the YouTube link. If you want to actually click on the YouTube QR code, that'll take you to the channel. When I first set up the podcast, I had fabulous expectations. I've been following this guy called Stephen Bartlett, you might have heard of him, Diary of the CEO. He's an absolute gun. He's number 2 in the podcasting world around the world now. He's got, he's a very attractive guy, so you can see the similarity. And he's also got 12.1 million subscribers on his YouTube podcast. So I thought, launch with 3 or 4 episodes and the money's just going to sort of roll in. It didn't. But Lisa Vincent was one of my first interviewees, talking about how she raised money to build a EdTech platform during COVID, which was quite a feat. If you click on this page, this QR code will take you straight to the website, which shows each of the episodes and also a bit about each of those episodes. So over the last 50 odd weeks, I've produced 204 videos, so there's been 50 episodes, and then there's been a series of short videos created for promotional purposes, which go out on my LinkedIn profile, so there's a post every day of the week, 5 days a week. But also I found that podcasts are a bit funny from the point of view of people don't get an email from me at 7:30 on a Wednesday morning, and then they don't sit there on the toilet listening to me for an hour, because they've actually got stuff to do, like going to work. And so what I started to do was to put together a short synopsis of these podcasts, which were the 4-minute insights. And so as a result of that, 204 videos has now got 17,000 views, which I find completely flabbergasting. I mean, who would want to listen to anything that I've produced for 703 hours?
You're supposed to be selling yourself, John.
I know, but I'm also here to be realistic and tell you about warts and all, and I'm probably the wart. So there's been daily posts, 236 of the suckers, 91,000 people have looked at it, but actually more importantly, 2,500 people have actually made some comment or engaged with it. Emails, I got angry with LinkedIn because for my first 2 weeks of the podcast, I was getting something like 2,000 to 3,000 impressions a week. Right. And I think that's pretty good. And then all of a sudden, it went from 2,500 down to 200, and then it dropped down to 100. And I thought, hang on, what's going on here? And LinkedIn basically has this proprietorial thought that the eyeballs on LinkedIn belong to them, not to me. And so therefore, if I offer up a URL that takes them to my website to listen to the podcast, I get right across with you. So they throttle back how much visibility you get. So being a belligerent sort of person, the only way to resolve that was to actually develop an email list of all the people who was connected with me, which I did. And now I put out an email every week that hits about 4,000 medium business owners and their advisors, and that promotes the podcast. And that's really what's driving most of the traffic. So traffic, yes, there's been a lot of it. When I look at who's interested in me, I thought it was going to be people like me who are wanting to exit their businesses or do really useful stuff. And I never thought I'd be popular with any 25 to 34-year-olds. I've got 2 daughters in that age bracket, and I think that sort of proves a point. But also, I didn't expect to really have much contact with anybody outside really of Victoria, let alone across Australia, let alone in 40-odd countries. And I'd love to know who the person is who actually listens to the podcast on a semi-regular basis in Nepal, because it's not a target market of mine, but I'm just curious. Sadly, 97.5% of the people who listen to me are male. And as I'm very keen on gender equity and I'm a feminist at heart, I expected that I'd actually appeal to more females than 2.5%. Consumption, because of that friction between when you hear about the podcast and when you actually got time to listen to it. 2,500 or 2,300 listened to it in the earbuds in audio, but I didn't expect that YouTube would actually be a stronger channel, but it is the main channel. So YouTube is really 60% of my traffic, and on a monthly basis, demand really just seems to be all over the shop, and I can't really figure out why. But that's because I can't control everything, which is something I should have learned when I was a partner at Deloitte. So what are the real benefits of it for me? Well, it's gotten me out of my own way. I used to be very shy of posting. In fact, until the 30th of September last year, I reckon I had about 20 posts in a 20-year career on LinkedIn. Now I've got a few more. It's actually woken up a lot of past clients, which I hoped for, and it's worked. I've become an advanced user of artificial intelligence. ChatGPT, Descript, which is an editing tool, and Gamma, which is a presentation preparation tool. They're my friends. I rely on them very heavily. And I've also become a competent user of a whole bunch of other stuff. So the learning curve is vertical. So if you're going down this path, expect to learn, and learn at a far faster rate than you expect. I've become recognised, by the way, apparently I'm a podcaster, and that's why you're here. So who knew? This is actually my first gig talking about podcasting, apart from around the kitchen table. So thank you. The other thing it's done is it's actually helped my SEO ratings on Google. So when I search for me or I search for critical few actions, I'm invariably on page 1. And I use it as a tool to actually promote my CEO Masterclass in Strategic Planning, which is a 12-month course on how to actually develop a plan and how to implement it. LinkedIn, I had a couple of thousand people following me. Now it's 3 and a bit, so it's gone at 50%. But more importantly, it's the fantastic conversations I get to have, because that's my favourite platform. And the other thing that I've got now is this library of resources of great conversations that I've had. And I would say that probably not a week goes by where I actually finish conversations with clients or prospects or people that are meeting environments like this and say, oh yeah, there was an episode about that, I'll send it to you. And so I've got this body of knowledge. My business says there are 75 things that you need to do to improve the value of your business and its performance.
2 minutes, John,
That's right.
Yeah.
And this is my coverage now, so that's really what the body of work's all about.
Wow.
That's pretty well it. I've talked about AI briefly. An average episode used to take me about 5 days to publish. Now it takes about 9 hours. Done.
So it's 2 minutes there.
So we all have an opportunity now to ask John and Karen questions. So Karen, would you like to come up here? And John, take a seat and ask your questions.
Come closer.
I was about to sneeze, I wasn't sure what it was going to happen.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
I've got a practical question. I just want to ask you both, who does the actual making of your podcast? Who does the editing, the legwork for it? And how much time does it take?
A lot. I don't know about you, you
A
might
lot.
be really efficient.
It used to take a lot, but now we have, used to take a long time, but now we have this wonderful association with RMIT, Monash University, Melbourne University, and we have up to 30 interns, or maybe even more, per year, and I usually can delegate the social media posts, cutting it up and reusing, the editing, and also Fiverr is a fantastic way. Do you know Fiverr? Fiverr. They basically pitch for your job, and you can get something done for
yes.
100, for $100 or much less. So.
Yeah, mine's perhaps because of my experience is a little more involved. As I say, it takes about every 1 hour episode typically takes used to take about 5 days, and that would involve interview booking, interview script design, interview. That was the easy bit. Then there was the getting the transcripts, taking the video and cutting it up into small pieces for 60-second videos. Then there was the development of a script for the formative insights. The actual video editing was being done offshore, which probably takes a couple of days. And then there's publishing to social media and preparation of emails and data analytics of what are the emails actually telling us and who's clicking on it and where are they clicking on it and why did the emails work and why didn't the emails work. So it's quite involved, but with Descript, which is an AI supported editor, it automatically now narrates, it comes up with the transcript, it automatically comes up with 50-second, 60-second clips to go on the video. It takes all the ums and the ahs out of everything that I say, and that can save 20 minutes. And so the AI helps a hell of a lot. ChatGPT, because I've got it really dialed into my style of voice, it's now producing scripts for my formative insights that are really good, that I don't have to spend anywhere near as much time as I used to customising it, in minutes literally. And so therefore, you get your workflow going. So for me, it's now down to about 9 hours. But it's partly because I've probably overcomplicated it by going video as well as audio, and it's a two-person interview, and so on and so forth.
Do you have 2 cameras on your video?
I stopped doing that when I realised it made no difference to the quality of the production quality, so I record on Zoom virtually all the time now. I've done lives face-to-face, but it does create a whole raft of new production problems that I'm still trying to work out. Yeah.
You've got a good system going now.
I've got a bit of a system going now, but there's 3 of us working on it. Whereas Steve Bartlett, he does a very polished exercise, he's got 50 people working on it.
50.
Sorry, Robert.
Devyani.
Hi, I was wondering, for both of you, have you found there's an ideal kind of duration for each episode to keep your audience engaged, and if there's an ideal kind of delivery schedule as well, just to keep up with the similar good engagement numbers for both of you?
Good question.
Good question. Just say as a listener, I love it when my podcast subscriptions just drop every week and it's predictable. And you can see it come up on your feed, and that's not what I do. But maybe next year.
Yeah. I release an episode every Wednesday without fail, mainly because looking at other podcasters, I've realised that where they've seen big growth in their followership, it's been because of that regularity and that frequency. I don't think there's any advantage in going more frequent than once a week, but I think weekly or fortnightly is a really good cadence. The other part of the question you asked, which was how long should an episode be? Some people have regular podcasts that go for 5 minutes. Mine go for as long as I find the conversation interesting, which gives me some editorial control, and they typically go from 30 to 60 minutes. Steve Bartlett, who's obviously a bit of a loser in this space because he's got 12.1 million followers, most of his episodes now run for 90 minutes to 2 hours. Some go to 3.5 hours. So, and people do sit down, and actually that's their evening TV, which is really starting to compete effectively.
He has
with
some pretty
commercial
amazing
TV.
guests.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's stunning.
Was it through the whole thing?
Yeah. Who's next?
Robert.
Obviously, these podcasts are designed to promote your respective businesses. But is there a more direct monetization available for people who produce podcasts?
There is, from what I've heard from colleagues, it's because I'm obviously not doing it, and even though one of my YouTube videos has over 3 million, I'm not getting monetization because I'm in this dispute with YouTube about the song, which is hello good morning, which is La Cucaracha. And I said it's my song and it's my copyright because we've got a video to it, but they're saying that it's traditional, but it belongs to someone in South America. So anyway, we're ongoing dispute. I could be very rich now, but I'm not. But what was the question again?
Is there a more direct
Monetization. If you get enough ears listening or eyeballs on your podcast, if it's a video podcast, then you can get sponsors on board. Because if it's a certain market that can be defined in a demographic, and you can tell your potential sponsors, look, you can reach 20,000 eyeballs, which on video or a podcast, and we do this weekly, then you can sell it to them because they want direct access to a certain demographic.
Yeah. So in my case, I have a sponsor for the podcast, which is my CEO Masterclass. So I use that as an advertising platform for the Masterclass. I've actually had students at Swinburne looking at what are the alternative funding strategies for the podcast. There's options around actually having the podcast as being private, so that it's actually only available for paid subscribers through a Patreon sort of model. Certainly, I think that the way to, well, if you look at, say, Steve Bartlett, all his funding comes largely through YouTube, paying for the clicks that he gets and the currency. But in this case, certainly in my case, I think there are other ways to do it, but I'm yet to explore them. I just don't have the followership at the moment.
Any more questions?
I wondered if we could see that slide, that busy slide you had 2 slides ago, because I didn't get a chance to read it.
Yeah, I've got plenty of busy slides. It shows that I'm a great consultant. Let's
It's
see.
interesting.
This one.
This one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Right. So, no pointer, but up the top there, the yellow ones, and I'm green colourblind, so they might be green. They're the 6 levers of growth. So, develop a strategy, generate revenue, keep some profitability, support your people to perform, drive your assets harder, and then actually learn from the performance of your business, so KPIs and budgeting. And then that sort of breaks down into 11 streams and 75 factors that we look at. And so, the podcast is designed to actually look at some of those topics like additional revenue opportunities, training your operations managers, what your 3 to 5 year strategy looks like, how you do product and service training, and so on.
Thanks.
But it's probably more like a bit of A/B testing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you could plan all you like, but maybe if from week to week something isn't really clicking with your audience, then maybe try something else, and if that's clicking more, then you go down that path.
And there's so many factors at play that you can analyse and still have no idea what you're doing. So I send out emails. The first 200 emails is actually split tested based on a subject to determine what the open rate is, and then the system automatically sends it out to the other 3,600. Those short videos that I talk about, there's been 8 of them this year that have gone to 1,000 people. All the others have been shown to 200. Why did we go to 1,000 people in a 24-hour period? No idea.
So I'm happy for Mary to go first.
Oh, thank you, Philip. You mentioned earlier, and I'll be on Karen to answer this question as well, you said that you weren't appealing to women who weren't listening, it was mostly men. So I'm just wondering if you have any idea why that might be. And for Karen, are you appealing to both men and women?
I have a slightly different strategy to John. So John is focusing mostly on the podcast, I guess, and that's a funnel into your CEO masterclasses, if I understand correctly. Whereas I'm really trying to broaden the the Hello Music brand and also promote the value of music in ways that most people wouldn't define music as being, and it's more of a 360-degree marketing tool for us. So if you don't want to go to the classes, maybe you have a listen to the podcast, or you watch the video, or some of our TV shows that are on, or come to our events. So it's this constant inundation of brand, and we call it a 360-degree immersion.
And with regard to my audience, I'm not overtly targeting males or females, and maybe there's something I've got to learn around how to actually get more of a gender balance, because at the moment I'm putting out content and letting people select. I think my email marketing, my email list is about 20% female, so I would expect that I'd have a higher take-up rate, but it's not happening.
Have many female guests?
About 20% of my guests are females, yeah. So I prefer to actually have female guests on the show too.
Oh, so many.
John
Okay.
Karen. John Karen, I just have a question for both of you. In this ever-increasing space of information on the internet and social media, how do you keep your work and your podcasts, focused and relevant in the face of ever-increasing competition you have from people out there? How do you keep that niche and keep your audience coming for your podcasts?
I actually don't worry about it. Because knowledge and information is everywhere, and it's free, and it's easily accessible. I'm working on the basis that people will find, the people who find the podcast interesting will find it. And so I'm not really sure that I'm competing with other people as such. I think it's a unique audience that is interested in what I'm doing. And so I'm happy to sort of play in that niche of business improvement ideas for the middle market, and largely from founders and their advisors. So I'm not overly concerned about the market development. I think there are enough ears and eyeballs to go around.
I think you're just saying authentic, and I have a certain passion for what I'm doing, and I really want to elevate everyone else's voices that are impacting and using music to impact society. So I think in the long run, the authenticity will come through, and other people that sharing that passion with you will find you, and you form that little community. And the other thing is that the good thing is with podcasts and videos, they are there forever. So some of our videos on YouTube from 10, 15 years ago are still clicking through, and that's how we get the 3 million. That's just one of my videos, but you should look it up and have a good laugh. But so it's there forever. So people will just find you, and you'll be able to touch people from generation to generation.
So we need to wrap up soon, but there were two people who had their hands up that I could see, Peter and Warren. So Warren, did you want to?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for the presentation, and I'm very jealous of anyone who can display such ease in what I think is such an alien platform and alien language, and is possibly the biggest technophobe in the room. My question is, I have on my iPad a file that says LinkedIn, and there's probably 5,000 now accumulated, unopened things that I post there. Can you very quickly give a technophobe like myself a bit of a set? Is it worth actually dipping into LinkedIn or not?
Yes.
Sell it in 30 seconds.
This is a LinkedIn pitch.
I'm not going to...
My best friends are on LinkedIn. And it's my little black book of everyone that I meet
Yeah,
that I want to
that's what I
keep in
do.
my back pocket. I just scan, we do the exchange, and you keep it there. And anything that's business related, or if you can help other people in business and introduce each other, I mean, there is your network of like-minded people.
Is it, do you use it what, is it a promotion to promote events, or you go on to read, what is it?
So it's both I use it as a knowledge platform. So I'm careful about who I follow because I get their feed, and so I use it as an educational platform. I use it as a promotional platform and a connection platform.
All right, we might do LinkedIn another night because it's quite an interesting one. Thank you. Peter, last one.
Yeah, thank you both for the presentation. It's great. Personally, on our own personal activities, on our emails and spam emails, we get very suspicious telephone numbers from people calling us. Is there any concern in terms of podcasting about rogue activities or rogue people that come into you, or we've got to be careful of in terms of security issues? Because we're dealing with that in our own activities, and in podcasting, is there anything that you've got to be concerned or worried about in terms of some of the responses that come back to you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you mean in the direct mail that comes from podcasting?
Well, I'm doing a podcast, and the responses you're getting back in the audience you've got.
Yeah, there's always.
Are there any concerns that there's some rogues in there that could actually be infiltrating?
Yes, I think anything that you post and put out there is an invitation for those rogues to come and try and step into your space, pretend they're an active listener. They try and bait you, and you just have to look at every communication with paranoia, and just try and read in between the lines.
Really
you have to be careful. And I think in the future it'll be even worse, because they can take snippets of your podcast, put AI generated content into it using your voice, and then they can disseminate that and say that you said this because it's your voice on your podcast. So just like people can fake your website, like Mark has a Airbnb place and in Holland, and it was stolen, and they made a fraudulent page and booked people, took their money, and then those people turned up in Holland.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I'd like everyone to please give our presenters a big round of applause. And Rotary Melbourne has been running the same gag for a number of years now, where we say we're presenting you 200% Australian-made socks, but because I'm presenting 2 pairs of socks, I can vary the gag and say I'm giving you 400% Australian-made. So, John, on behalf of the Rotary Club, something for you to walk away with, some socks. And Karen, is this your first?
Yes.
It is there, the first Rotary socks. All right, so please, I had lots of questions, sure you do. Please join us for a drink, have a chat. There'll be some more food coming out, so thanks a lot.